Hey guys, Boniface Ogunti here. So we have another client success interview, and this is Hadji Sall. So Hadji actually, this is actually really going to be a really good interview because Hadji tried a lot of different business opportunity out there. I know Hadji used to do e-commerce. He used to do online courses. He tried so many different to try to break through to like make a income that's going to be more stable online. And I told Hadji like, hey Hadji, agency is the best route to go. And he actually doubled down on every single thing when it came to him running his agency. And Hadji, man, first thing first, before we get started, man, we like to show results, right? So what I'm gonna have Hadji do is kind of share his screen and show how much he was able to make just with one of his payment processor, how much he was able to make with his agency business. So Hadji, go ahead, you can share your screen, man. And then we want to know what your agency specializes in every single thing as well.
Gotcha. So my agency specializes in growth operating. So with specifically operating is that where I help my clients generate sales. So this is like a new client account. So I help my clients set up the merchant account and everything like that, set up their
Wait. How much you guys did of this just this one payment processor in the year to date?
Yeah, so in the last 6 months we did $210,000.
And that's all from client sales.
Wow. That's all from client sales. And what we do is, well, how my model works is that I take a percentage of the client's sales. So then this way you don't need a lot of clients. You could just focus on a few clients and get them really good results. And as they grow, you make more money. So you're motivated to help the client as much as possible. And then so you can kind of be behind the scenes, be the operator. While they make the content, they're the face, you help them make a product, or if they don't already have a product, you help them make it. So most of the times they have their own product. And then from there, I come in, apply my marketing skill sets that I learned from the program, that I learned from Boniface. And then from there, I use that skills. And, this is just one client. We did 210,000. Have other clients that are scaling as well. And I make between 10 to 15% of that. So just this year, one client, I made $21,000 from this client, and I probably work like a few hours a week on this client. Getting it set up is usually going to be the hardest part, but then after that, I outsource some of the work to people in Pakistan, and then they do the ads. They help me set up the funnels and everything like that, and I'm able to just kind of manage and oversee that process and really like be a second brain for my client, because you got to understand that it's very difficult, being a content creator, then making a course, then coaching the students, and then on top of that, having to focus, on your own marketing on top of that and everything like that. So, a lot of people are always just looking for a second brain and someone that's willing to, work. You can charge, like when I had this client, I started charging them up front, because I charged them up front. And then after I started getting some results, and I told them, okay, we can move to commission only now. Right. Even
so
if
you started first when you enrolled that first client for your agency, you charged that client an upfront fee. How much was that upfront fee that you charged that client?
I charged that client $6,000.
So you charged the client $6,000. I mean, making $6,000 off one client, I'm sure that impact your life and things like that, and give you more belief like, yo, I can get more and more clients. Because a lot of these people who are watching this right now, they're just starting out and they're trying to break through. A lot of them don't have skill sets. So like you said in the interview too as well, you said that you're leveraging other individuals who are freelancers, and those individuals are helping you do the heavy lifting for your clients so you can be able to free up your time to help that client get better results. So let's talk about a little bit about that, about how you kind of realize that you couldn't do all the work yourself, and there's other people out there that specialize in these different things that you can be able to even provide them training for them to do to help your clients get more results. So let's talk about that a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. So outsource a lot of the work. There's so many people, there's so many talented people all over the world.
And you learn the outsourcing from our program, because in the program, we show you exactly how to find different freelancers and things like that you can be able to work with. So let's talk about that. Go ahead.
And then especially like the different places that you were teaching us how to outsource, where most people would tell you to go to Fiverr, you was like, no, you can get the best talent in South America for ads. You can get the best graphic designers are in Morocco. And then you were just showing us like how to find really high quality people that are even better at the job than you are. So I was getting some really quality people to help me. And I think that, that was a huge difference maker to be able to create the results that we're creating now, because they brought a lot of knowledge to the table. And I'm able to, even like like my client paid me $6,000. For 1,500, I got someone that pretty much, set up all the work for the client. And then from there, all I did was just connect the dots, so like my client, because like even you got to understand that the client is so busy, they don't have time to go hire someone to build the funnels. They need someone to focus on that. So that when the client hires you, they're not necessarily hiring, a doer. They're just hiring another, smart person in their business to work with them and to think about their business. So you don't got to look at it like, hey, you're the doer. You're a consultant. So you come in and then you're able to spot opportunity that the client is not able to spot because they're in their business. And then you just know the type of people that could do the work and generate the results. The client doesn't care if you do it or don't do it. Most of the time, the client prefers that you don't do it, so that you can be more of a manager in their business and more of a consultant than a hand, because a manager will always be more valuable than a hand.
Yeah. That's 100% true, man. And a lot of these clients, when they want to work with you, they're not looking at, oh, who's gonna be doing the services. They're working with you because they know that they don't care. They just want the work being done. So by you just getting the work being done for them and doing it on a very high level and finding great service providers to do those work, they're gonna want to keep doing business with you. So let's talk a little bit about this, because you don't have any social media following. Like, you barely have social media following. What would you say? I know we show you how to use the outreach strategies and things like that we taught you in the program. But what would you say one of the best strategies that you learned from us on like getting clients online with organically without having a big social media following?
Now, the best one, hands down, and this is where I got this client from, was with outreach, and I only sent like 20 DMs and got him as a client.
Yeah.
Which was, you taught us how to do outreach on school.
The DM scripts and every single thing.
Exactly. But like, you were the first person to teach, to show me like you should do outreach on school. So school is like the Alex Hormozi app and stuff like that, like where the communities are. So instead of like, you could do outreach on Instagram, but if you go on school, no one is doing outreach on school. So every time you send a message there, the person actually gets an email saying that someone sent you a message on school. Right. And then when you go on school, like the people are already in different communities. So if you want to get like a fitness influencer, there are already communities for fitness influencers. You want to get a coach and consultant, you want to get someone that does stocks, you want to get someone that does this. So literally, like if you want to get someone that teaches stocks, you can go into different communities of people that teach this stuff, and you can start to reach out to people there. And that's how I got this first client. You want to get someone in real estate, you can go to different real estate communities on school, and you can reach out to people on school from there. And then that's how I got these clients.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. Awesome. So what do you see for yourself, man? You're working with a few clients right now. Your whole objective with these clients is getting percentage of their business. You're not only just charging an upfront fee, you're charging an upfront fee and you're getting percentage. How would you say you negotiate that deal with these individuals?
Especially if someone is getting started, and they don't have the confidence to charge that upfront fee, they could just go commission only. You know what I'm saying? So like if, maybe they might make some mistakes and stuff like that, it's commission only. But, to negotiate with the client, I think that it's actually even easier when you charge commission. And I just kind of stated like this. I'm like, hey, do you want me to focus on you and only you? Or do you want me to try to do some work for you and then still be trying to go get more clients? Right. So clearly they want someone that's going to focus on them and only them. And, so when I tell them that, I was like, okay, for me to focus on you and only you, if you give me a commission, then I'll lock in on you and we can create some results together. And then that's what I would say. And then I would get more clients, but not too many, right? You don't want to overload it, because really with commission only, quality over quantity, right? If you have 2-3 quality clients, even one quality client will take you a long way. Versus trying to get 10 clients, 15 clients, and you don't want to get clients and lose clients. You want to get few clients and really build that relationship with them. And then from there, as they grow the business, you make more money like that. And then, this way, the client looks at it like, oh, they will prefer you to get a commission because they want you to make them more money. So when the client knows that you got skin in the game, and, as you make money, as they make money, you make money. So they're going to have more confidence in you to produce the results, because you're willing to bet on yourself the same way that they're betting on themselves.
100%. And let's talk about this too, because this is not your first business venture online. Like, you've tried a lot of different things. You invested in a lot of different courses before you came to me, right? You tried investing with different people. It didn't work out. I remember you was telling me like, hey, I did this investment with these different people and things like that. Finding you and actually learning from the strategy and things that you do actually was able to create more stability in my business. You tried e-commerce. You did very well with e-commerce, but a lot of people who are starting out here are beginners. Can we talk about why agency is the best place for them to start and how it was one of the most easiest thing for you to do? Because I always talk about this. You don't need a huge startup capital to be able to run an agency business. You don't. They already have service providers, and when your client pays you, you pay those individuals to do the service for you. So let's kind of elaborate a little bit on that, on how like the opportunity of the agency is such a great opportunity and how it was able to impact you to create more stability in your life. Because I see you traveling the world. I see you and your wife in Morocco. You guys are like everywhere right now. You guys are. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, absolutely. This first of all, this business like is a lot more, is less stressful, right?
Yeah.
And I think it comes down to one word, is profit. You get what I'm saying? Because like, with a lot of e-commerce business and stuff like that, people will be able to see the revenue, but revenue is not what you're going to be able to save in your bank account. That's not what you're going to be able to use to travel. That's money that you got to buy more product, continue to use in the business. But with agency, my client is the one spending the money on ads. They're the ones, spending the money on their brand, spending the money on their content creators, videos, and everything like that. And whatever we make, I take a percentage off the top. And that percentage, when it comes to me, there's nothing else for me to spend money on. So that's all profit, and I think that that's the biggest game changer with this business, or like, so there's such thing as building revenue, but profit changes your life, so revenue is just numbers, but profit is actually what you eat. And with this business, even though like, we're not doing $100,000 a month, we'll do $40,000 a month, $20,000 a month, but that's all profit, right? In the e-commerce business, if you make $100,000 a month and you're a really good e-commerce operator, you make 10%. So you just made 10,000. You made 100,000 to make $10,000 in profit, pre-tax. But with this business, I can, I can have more leverage and make more profit with less risk, without the inventory and everything like that. And then also too, the most important part is that you get the opportunity of leverage. Right? Because you're not starting a brand from scratch. You're working with people that already have a brand. They spent 3 years, 5 years making content to get to where they are. And then you come in and tap into that revenue potential in your first month, in your first year.
Nice, man. And that's a really good point, because a lot of people don't realize, a lot of beginners, I see them, people who are starting out, they don't have a big following. So they always get discouraged, like, hey, how am I even going to be able to even get a client online? But you don't have to use your own brand. Just like Hadji said, what Hadji did, he went through the program, master every single thing when it came to gaining clients, doing outreach and every single thing that we taught him. And he leveraged that. And now he's able to change his life, create more stability. All the other businesses he started, those businesses made some type of revenue, or they tried, but it wasn't as consistent, as stable as his agency business. So that's why running an agency business is one of the most lucrative business you can start as a beginner, because there's no business that you can start with as low as $0. You literally, you only pay when a client pays you. When a client pays you, you literally leverage that client, and then you find a service provider to do the fulfillment for your clients. And we teach all of that in the program. So Hadji, man, what would you tell anybody who's thinking about joining the Agency Accelerator program and working with our team and working with Boniface?
No, definitely Boniface is the truth, and he has a wealth of knowledge that you're not going to find anywhere else. He has knowledge from real experience. He has knowledge, doing it. Like when he was doing it, like I was like, show me what your agency is currently doing. And he runs the agency, so he's not just teaching it, he's actually doing it, and he does agency at a high level. So no matter what you're doing, you always got to have some sort of agency play on top of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because this is just a good insurance policy. No matter what projects you try to do, what type of your own products, having a few clients on the side is always going to make whatever you're doing a lot easier. you know, and then that's what Boniface told me. And I was like, you know, you're right. You know, and that's when I got into the agency program. And the knowledge is, it's fast, you know, it's really fast. You can get your client your first week. The strategies is, you know, it doesn't even really require that much effort. I literally got a client off of like 1 hour. I was still in bed and I was just sending some DMs on school, and I got a client. And then that client is now $20,000 in 6 months, and you know, that's all profit, and that's a complete game changer. And that's just getting started with the client. We just got started with the client in February. So February, you know, so it's only been like 3 months with that client, and we're at $20,000 a month. And then now it's just like, I'm not even focused on going to get more clients. I'm just focused on like, let's just keep working with this client, and I don't have to make content, anything like that. And you know, and the business works, and I still make my money. So yeah, it's super solid. You know, not stressful at all. And the program just flat out works. It works, and you know, Boniface is a great teacher.
Awesome, man. Awesome, man. Hadji, it was wonderful having you on here, man. Keep crushing it. Keep growing your agency, man. Any help and support that you need from us, we're in the community group to be able to help and support you. Super excited, man. Wonderful having you. Bye-bye.
All right, good luck, man. Peace.